Hey, it's Josh McCarthy, and today I'm going to be doing a wheel review of the Patikil, or I think it's Patikil 78A longboard soft wheels. I purchased these with my own money for a whopping $17.99 off Amazon. And their page lists them as a soft cruiser street wheel for skateboards and skate wheel PU, and says that they're frosted. I think this actually means that they're stone ground, but we're gonna find out, and we're gonna set these up right now. My setup is a DB Mamba, and I'm on 155 millimeter caliber 3 raked trucks. Right now the bushings I have in there are a 90A insert bushing and a 90A tall chubby riptide bushing. And yeah, that's my setup. So I'm gonna go ahead and take off my Rain Envies, which I also think are an excellent wheel. We'll get this set up. I'm joined by my very sleepy co-host Bobo over here. He's just napping away in the hot afternoon. So we'll get this all popped down there. We'll crack these open. So I haven't opened a set of these yet, so I'm going to find out if they actually are stone ground, which it kind of looks like they are a little bit. Alright, and they do have a stone grind on them, but it's honestly pretty faint. This is like, they took off at least the skin, which is fine, so it'll make breaking these in a little bit easier, but it's definitely not as stone ground as you would typically find from like maybe a not so sketchy Amazon seller, like maybe a little bit more of a industry brand, say like Blood Orange Morgans are definitely a lot more stone ground than these things are. Alrighty, just popping off these bearings, and I rock Zealous bearings. I pretty much only ride Zealous bearings because they have built-in spacers and you don't need to use speed rings with them. So in general, I'm pretty lazy with all that stuff, so I prefer to have it all built in so I don't lose it or need to keep track of it while I'm not riding. They're pretty nice, kind of creamsicle color here. Oh, and the grip tape that I'm using right now is seismic locked on. And I've got a few patches of clear Vicious on there just for some high wear areas that I've already worn out on my seismic locked on. I'm hoping that if I keep up with this, I'll be making a series, and it's going to be all on really cheap Amazon wheels, even some of the bad ones. I've been already riding a few different pairs to try to give a few examples for review, but some of them have been pretty good, some of them have been not so good. And I'm no like expert free rider or anything like that. I'm mostly like ride at putting speeds, but I'm definitely working my way towards some of the faster. And the free ride, as I'm getting ready, if anybody's gonna be there, I'll be at Wood Booger this year. So come on out to Norton, Virginia. If you haven't signed up, I think there's a wait list now to sign up because it filled up all the way, which is super sick. It's going to be really stoked and nice to go ride with a bunch of people on a really sick hill. And totally worth the drive. And when I'm setting up free ride wheels, in general these days, I've learned that it's just better to crank them. I know some people are like, oh, you should have like that like little bit of click or whatever after you've tightened it down. But honestly, the speed that your wheels like free spin like that, it doesn't matter once you're actually standing on the board and rolling. So it's better just to crank them, because I find that it helps me a lot. Like I can notice the difference between when I have them cranked down all the way versus with that little bit of click. I think the like more like in the wheel feeling definitely comes from having them cranked down all the way. But that's just a personal opinion, and do whatever you want. You know, it's your board. So I'm all set up, and I'm gonna go see you on the hill. Nice. Thanks. Going down this hill, man? Yeah. Be safe, man. is one chunky flat spot. Real pain. Okay, so thoughts. Overall, I'd say these wheels were they're pretty good. I wouldn't say they're awesome. Like, they're just pretty good, not like fantastic. There are totally tons and tons of super great slide wheels out there right now. The market is like incredible. There's basically, it's hard to find a bad slide wheel. So just take that with a grain of salt. I'd say that my first impression was like, oh, they're kind of that like creamy orange color. I was like, oh, these are gonna be kind of like an orange creamsicle type of wheel, but they turned out to be smooth, yes, but they're actually quite in the pavement. They are 78A. Sometimes they felt a little bit harder than that, a little bit more like an 80A wheel, but they were kind of that like softer texture. I'd say like a smooth, grainy texture, like a pumpkin. You know, like if you were to like grate a pumpkin into like a nice puree. That's how I would describe these wheels. The break-in, as you saw, was like mostly one session. It was pretty quick. They didn't buck me off or anything like that in the beginning. And then I had like 2 or 3 sessions where they felt like on point, super awesome. And then the like last session on them was not the best. Definitely like when they're in the middle zone, I feel like I could even bring them up to much higher speeds pretty comfortably. But towards the ending, as they got closer to the core, and all these are like, I felt like I still had a long way to go on them. Like you can see the core, like the line of the core through the wheel. But unfortunately, maybe it's my error, but they flat spotted super hard. I got like these other 3 wheels after rotating several times and doing like a good number of like really smooth curved hands down slides. They came back to like be rounder again, but this wheel, maybe it was swirled or maybe I was just not rotating it right or something like that. It just continued to flat spot harder and harder in the same spot, and it was to the point where in the last session I was trying to round it back out, just doing sit down slides, and it just like could not hold any more traction. Was jumping up and down, and my board just like totally escaped from underneath me. I just slid on my butt. And then I decided, you know what, it's not worth the trouble to get a nice set of clean cores on these, even though I really would like, I expect that instead of wheels these days, that like I can get all 4 nice and clean. Even if I flat spot them, that I could bring them back, but these ones did not want to come back. Maybe it was just how it went. It seems like as they got closer to the core around that like can see the line type of deal, I started to notice that these are not center set at all. They're actually offset, and the side that is the widest as you get closest to the core is actually the inner lip, which is pretty sharp. So I felt like the like extra flex that was there was definitely slowing me down a ton at the end, and it didn't feel that great. For like sessions 1 through 3, like awesome, 10/10, super great. If I were to kind of give these wheels a rating on an arbitrary scale, I'd say they're like 4 pumpkins out of 6, which is pretty good. It's just like, I wouldn't recommend them to anyone who's super new to freeride, and I wouldn't recommend, well, yeah, I wouldn't recommend them to someone who's super new to freeride. They just like are kind of prone to flat spot. I had noticed in some of the earlier sessions that they had flat spot a little bit if I was like being dumb, but I was able to like round it back during those sessions really quickly. They wear really fast. These were 65 millimeter wheels to start. And oh, I forgot to add the dimensions. Let me see here, I have them pulled up. So supposedly their overall width, not counting the like original contact patch because they're usually a round lip wheel to start. So it's 45 millimeters wide at its widest, which is definitely part of why as they got closer to the core, they actually seemed to be a lot grippier, which was nice in the middle section. But towards the end, I think the flexibility on the inner lip and the bevel of this cone profile definitely wasn't to this wheel's benefit, in my book at least. Some people who are maybe a little heavier than me who can overcome that very easily, or just like people who want to like do only hands down slides for the end of their wheel's life, then like sure, yeah, go for it. But if you aren't in that category and you want to be doing stand-up slides until you're on a set of cores, this might not be the wheel for you. But I thought they're definitely worth 18 bucks, so I'll certainly leave the link for them in the description. I'm not affiliated with this brand, which I'm gonna just start calling Patikil because I don't know how to pronounce their obviously generated Amazon seller page name, but I'll link these wheels in the description if you want to give them a shot. I think it wouldn't be $18 wasted. I'd say like if you want 3 solid freeride sessions, these wheels are definitely in the books. Or if you're going really hard, you could probably, if you brought these to like a real long free ride, like something fast type of hill, you could maybe even one session these if you really put the weight into them. Yeah, but pretty rad. I'll give them 4 pumpkins out of 6. And then Bobo came to join me after the video just to be cute because she's Bobo and she deserves the attention. And then Milu has been sitting behind me this entire time. Have anything to say for yourself? Yes, you're all good. And then Bear has also come to join us over here too. Yeah, all right. I hope to be making more cheap Amazon wheel reviews. I might even do some legit wheel reviews. I think there are a lot of them out there, so I don't know if I'll do all the big ones, but maybe just a couple for comparison. But hopefully more to come.